What's going on, everybody? We're back. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday. This is Pick and Six, brought to you by Pick and Winners. I am Tyler. He is Connor. Connor, how you feeling, buddy? How was the holiday? How you feeling?
Great holiday. I'm riding high. Nets are on a 10-game winning streak, so things are looking good for me. I know it's outside of the typical realm of discussion here, but vibes are good. Going
Vibes are high.
into this New Year's weekend, a lot of football we have to cover here. Tyler, how's it going, bro?
Oh, it's going great. We have to. I told everybody you have to ring in the new year right. It's very interesting that we have like the NFL and college football all slated around. Running right into 2023. The very last pick and winners video of the year is one day before the year is over. So talk about good timing. But yeah, man, I'm ready to ring in the new year. Usually, for those who do watch, we usually do college first, NFL second. But the NFL slate isn't super hot this weekend. A lot of teams are already in the playoffs, so they're going to be setting some guys to rest them for that time. And so there's only a couple of games that we're intrigued in, so we're going to go off through those first before we jump into the way more exciting New Year's Six and college football playoff games. Let's jump right into it with the Buccaneers -4 against the Panthers over under 39.5. This is for their division, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure how their division race is shaking out. I know like Carolina 6-9, Tampa Bay 7-8, which those are the two best records in that divisions, along with the Saints and Falcons. How you feel about this one?
The division is
TB.
up for grabs here. This is interesting for a few reasons. The semi-resurgence of Sam Darnold.
Yeah, right.
Carolina in pretty much like their quarterback carousel, like you had PJ Walker, Baker, Sam
Hmm.
Darnold. Feels like they've had a zillion quarterbacks over the last like
Yeah.
5 seasons. But I mean, like Sam Darnold resurgence is interesting. I find like coming into this, like the Panthers defense is playing like oddly well, which is kind of weird to say at least. And like the run game's been pretty solid. Um, but the Panthers outgained the Bucks by 21 total yards in the first meeting this season, first and only meeting thus far,
Hmm.
rather. So it's everything from the run game, which has been a bit of a struggle for the Bucks. Fournette's been kind of like trending downhill. Rashad White's been in the mix. Giovanni Bernard's seen a couple touches here and there over the
They're
last
getting
several
the rookie.
weeks.
They're getting the rookie tight end in, right? Too, right?
Yeah, Cade Otton.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of mix up, but there are some injuries on the Carolina side. Tampa's offense is ranked 28th in points this season at like 17 and change. So it's just like an overall funky matchup. But this game is in Tampa, correct?
Yes. 1
Yeah.
p.m. in Tampa.
Yeah, like the under kind of intrigues me just because Tampa can't put up points. Carolina has a good defense. Don't trust Sam Darnold. And Tampa, it's crunch time. Tom Brady will rally the troops. But I think I'm going to go with Panthers plus the points. I think this will be a close one. It's not good to bet against Tom Brady overall, but I just think this game is going to be closer than this 4-point spread. So I'm going to rock with
Hmm.
Carolina.
Yeah, I don't want to declare recency bias because I feel like Carolina just stepped out and punched Tampa Bay in the mouth when they really weren't expecting it. I feel like on like at least since Tom Brady has arrived in Tampa Bay, I feel like most of the time I think we wouldn't even think twice about a matchup like this. But this is definitely a year of exceptions when it comes to historically great quarterbacks. I.e. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Um, so it definitely intrigues me. I really want to take the Bucks -4 just because I feel like they might just come out swinging. They're going to tighten up against the Panthers a little bit and not. They got to take them serious because they still have to. I believe they have to win out to take their division. The Bucks. They have to. They did it, so I think they have to do it tonight to take it. Not tonight, tomorrow, this weekend to do it. So I like the Bucks just because Tom Brady. You can't Tom Brady won't let himself be denied the chance to go out the way he wants to, and it's a retiring. You know what I mean? It sounds like He
He's got to bounce
retired.
elsewhere.
Huh? You think he's gonna keep playing?
Yeah, 100%.
So you think that even if he okay, I I, I don't know. It's here whether it's here or there. I know that Tom Brady wants success year in and year out. That's the only reason he continues to work and train and push himself to even play at this age. You know what I mean? So I feel like he wants it. Obviously he's older. We've seen him kind of maybe be a little bit lackadaisical here and there when it comes to weekly practice and things like that. But um, I feel like when it comes to it, who's going to deny Tom Brady a spot in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think they'll win the game. I just don't think they'll cover 4 points here.
Hmm.
And I think on the recency bias thing, I think if you extract take a whole season's worth of data, the Bucks offense has been so bad, it's not like a
Hmm.
recency bias thing. Like it's overall had like a pretty bad season. Like when was the last time Tom Brady was under 500 this late in the season?
Yeah, like going into the last game before like the playoffs.
Yeah, right. So I mean, like there's a little bit more recency bias on the side of Carolina, but whatever. I like the little bit of head-to-head disagreement here on the
Yeah,
show. I
what
think it
I,
makes things a little bit more interesting.
I know it makes us feel good as fans of the NFC East teams that our teams are not the division with the losing records.
Oh,
For one,
100%.
like makes us feel a hell of a lot better. I just want to check one thing on this game. Bucks too much juice on the money line. I may if I throw it on a parlay, I will definitely probably take the Bucks on the money line. Um, but
Yeah, I think that's probably stemming from, like, a lot of people thinking in the same lines as me, and, like,
like,
there's not much value on Bucks to cover. Like,
mhm.
as I said, I think they'll win the game, so it's really just parlay juice,
Yeah,
if you will.
that
I think
I might just kind of put it as it is and just maybe leave it to like a money line if I put in a parlay. You know, actually what I may do is I may either put the Bucks money line in a parlay or tease Carolina.
yeah, I think either are solid.
Yeah, so you're right. Giving me enough to maybe talk me off of I don't love the Panthers though. That's what I'm saying. But like you gave me enough to kind of talk me off the ledge on the Bucks. So those would be my two options: either Bucks money line and a parlay, or to tease the Panthers. Give them some room on that spread. Moving right along here, the Jaguars -3 against the Texans over under 43. You said you like this game, so I'll let you take this one first.
Yeah, I mean, like, we always talk about recency bias. Like, the Jags came up and I don't wanna say stunned the Jets, but really like, I wouldn't say tore apart, but, like, they did some damage to what was a really, really good Jets defense up until, like,
Yeah,
really last couple weeks.
yeah, I think the Jets were just in a crappy spot with I feel like I don't know if all their mentals were prepared for a game with this organization and like the quarterback room.
No, I don't think so. The quarterback issue is certainly a big thing, and
Obviously, the Jets
they've
defense has still been solid, though. You're right.
yeah, but, like, I think that's a big thing, and, like, Jacksonville's defense is good enough. I mean, it's not saying much, like, you hold, like, the Jets. I don't even remember who's under center for them, but, I've liked what I've seen from Trevor Lawrence this year. Like, he's done it like, arms been a good decision maker, he's done enough on his feet. Like, their passing offense is ranked 10th in the league,
Hmm.
and they're 11th in rushing, so overall, like, pretty solid. They average 23.5 points per game. I don't I think their defense is solid enough. They could hold a pretty bad Texans offense to low enough points. I like the Jags here to cover.
Me too.
Uh, yeah, and I mean, like, the only issue for them is if they give up a lot of rushing yards. It's tended to be the Texans' bread and butter, but I think they could do enough here on offense where that doesn't really like, you give up a touchdown or 2 and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I think that Trevor Lawrence, has gotten kind of made his way through the trials and tribulations of being a rookie quarterback in the NFL. Obviously, you can only have so much expectations for yourself. in your first year in the league. You know what I mean? Like it's just hard. You know what I mean? If you're expected to start as a rookie, that's not easy by any means. So, he's gotten through that, and now it seems to be that he is, you know, more comfortable as the starting quarterback. And I mean, obviously, maybe a little biased, but I'm a huge fan of Doug Peterson as their coach. And I think that he has them going on the right path. I like the Jags -3 here. I'm definitely with you there. And again, this is a game that I liked. The Ravens -2 against the Steelers. I like the Steelers mainly because Lamar is not playing. I know that is it usually Tyler Huntley is their backup, right?
Yep.
Typically, yeah. I mean, which he's not bad. Don't get me wrong. And they have a running back stable, but Lamar is Lamar, and he's a game changing type of talent. And the Steelers have T.J. Watt back. They have Kenny Pickett back. They have you know all their guys ready to go. So to me, there isn't. I mean, maybe I'm just kind of like this is maybe a little bit of blind faith here. But I like the Steelers here. Baltimore has not impressed me. Tyler Huntley's good for a game or two, but obviously he's not shown to be like a long term solution here. But I wanted to ask you, what do you think Lamar does now? Because here's the thing: is like what he chose to do by like trying to represent himself and ask for more money is like it's a gamble that only works if you can play a complete amazing season. And the last thing the last thing he needed to happen was for him to get hurt because now he's screwed. What do you? I mean, obviously this is not even betting related, but what are your thoughts there with Lamar?
I mean, there are a few guys in this league who are as dynamic as Lamar Jackson. I know we're getting a lot more dual threat quarterbacks in the league, but
Hmm.
even so, there's going to be such a high demand for him where you get him fully healthy, you put him behind a good offensive line,
And
and like
you
you give him
scheme,
weapons.
yeah,
Yeah, there's enough teams who have enough playmakers, like both running backs and the receiving realms that can make things a lot more interesting. I think he's had like there's narrative he doesn't have help, but like they've had some draft picks that haven't panned out. So I mean, I think he'll be fine. He'll take a hit on the yearly salary, but for
yeah.
that caliber of a quarterback, former MVP, what, he's 25 years old, same
Hmm.
age as your boy Stetson Bennett. Uh, yeah, I'm not too worried about him. Like, he'll take a couple mil dip a year, but he's not going to be struggling financially. Like, he's not going to go to a non-guaranteed contract where he's like
Yeah,
playing on a practice squad, you
yeah,
know?
exactly.
I
Just
mean,
unfortunately, unfortunately the ball's not in his court with how much money he can ask for.
right. I mean,
Yeah.
it can't, like, just not to always throw things back to basketball, but it's not going to be nearly as bad as DeMarcus Cousins and his injury. He
Hmm.
took that big gamble where he could have gotten like I think it was like 220 million over 6 years
Hmm.
and ended up the following season or a couple seasons later on the vet minimum and then out of the league
Yeah.
now. So
Your
it's like,
contract year is your year to ball out.
yeah, I mean, it's a stroke of bad luck. The team wasn't doing well. He gets hurt. It is
Hmm.
what it is. Like medicine and modern science is good enough. He'll be able to rebound pretty well. Like I'm not
Yeah.
worried about him. He's a dog. Like he'll be itching to get back. He just has to not rush to get back on
Hmm.
the field. That's the one concern I have with this whole situation.
Yeah, because like these dynamic players, like like because they do so much with their body. It's always you want to make sure that they take their recovery process correctly. And I still think that the Ravens need to wise up and realize that if you let him walk, it's the dumbest decision ever made.
Oh, 100%. Like,
Like,
what
so
does
if
that
you're
team
willing
have?
to, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, are you really willing to let your team struggle because you weren't willing to pay a generational quarterback what he's worth or what he thinks he's worth, rather? You know what I mean? I think the Ravens are silly, but I just want to know what your thoughts were there. Because it does suck. Like if you're in a contract year, especially when you're like demanding money and you're representing yourself in the whole deal, like you have no choice but to have like a career year, like to
And
really
it,
get what you just think you deserve.
and obviously, an agent could get you a little more money, but they're also taking their percentage. So really,
That's
how
true
much of
too.
a like your on-field play is going to speak to the whatever the market value per
Hmm.
year you're going to get for your next contract is.
Hmm.
So I mean, I think. like whether he had that to gain, like that percentage of not having an agent involved,
Yeah,
he would have that to gain. He has that to lose. I don't think there's really that much of a big
yeah,
swing here. He'll be
yeah,
fine.
yeah. But I like the Steelers there. I think that the Ravens are kind of done for the year, and the Steelers got a little bit. Um, are you ready to talk about college? It's the New Year's weekend, which means college football playoff time. And that means New Year's Six Bowls and the college football playoff semifinals. We're going to build up to those two semifinal games. First, talking about the best bowl game in the world. We both lost the South Carolina Bowl. Clemson -4 against Tennessee, over under 61. I like Tennessee here because I think that, obviously the reason Chad and I were talking about this yesterday. Me, Chad, Jeremiah on the South End Zone. By the way, subscribe if you haven't yet to South End Zone. And it's a more college football based show. We're more talking about the SEC, but at the end of the day, every stadium has a South End Zone, and that's why it's called that. But anyway, Tennessee, I like them here. Milton, their backup QB, is still very good. Um, obviously Hyatt was a big part of why they were also very good, but Clemson got lost to Tennessee, not lost to Tennessee, lost to Notre Dame, and lost to um, what is it? Lost to South
South
Carolina,
Carolina.
just like Tennessee did. I think that Tennessee's offense is still very dynamic. Milton is a very good quarterback, and I think they still have a lot to do here. And they, for what Josh Heupel has done, I think they really need to end the season on a high note. So I like them plus the points here against Clemson.
Yeah, I like them plus the points, but for kind of some different reasons. Milton will be fine. I think his like whatever success he has, like obviously like good game plan and like good execution on his part, but they have some really talented wide receivers
They do, and it's not
on
just
on
Hyatt.
that yeah, I know. On like
Yeah,
overall, like they
yeah.
have some really dynamic pass catchers on that team. And like going into an offense that was like running on all fucking cylinders, like I think it's a
Yeah, seriously.
good situation to be in, and like Clemson being the like the statue of like the stature of that program, like they're probably going to have some like key big men opt out. Maybe they
Mhm.
have already. I haven't really looked into it that much, but I don't know. I'm buying into Tennessee plus the points. I think they're, even though they might be a little less proven, but what who's going to be under center for Clemson?
Not DJ. However, his backup is pretty solid. I will say that. And that's the thing too. Is like the landscape of these bowl games has changed so much with the idea of opting out and the transfer portal. And I mean, the NFL has a lot to blame for opting out, if you're being honest, because of how rigorous and how serious those scouts like, and how like not greedy, but like how like your chance is so easily blown to make a living in the NFL by injury that the NFL almost scares these kids into not playing in their bowl games. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, not just in the bowl games, but what was going to happen with Hendon Hooker? Like, even though he was like 25, 24, 25, like he could have been a backup quarterback somewhere with how he was playing, and now he's not probably not going to sniff the NFL.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I think that him healthy is still an NFL caliber quarterback. He's very dynamic, but he needs weapons. Obviously, like it's been shown that like a lot of what made that team great is the receiving core. So I think that Hendon Hooker is an NFL quarterback. It's just a matter of
yeah,
if he gets a
but
shot.
no, I mean my point was more so like
His injury
there's
hurt
all
his stock.
right, and that could
Yeah.
happen to anybody, no matter like
Hmm.
when it happens, and like yeah, you have the last game of the season that realistically, like, unless you're playing in the playoff, doesn't mean much, like, other than your pride and, like, a nice trophy for whatever
And some
school you're
swag.
playing. Yeah, and, like, you get the probably get the swag whether you play or not.
That's
They
true.
prob the managers are probably getting, like, a nice, like,
Headphones and
little
whatever else they get.
basket.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's reasonable and, like, gotta look out for yourself, like, you're getting, like, a scholarship to play at these schools,
And
NIL now,
NIL money. Yeah.
but yeah, like like you need to make your money now. So I'm
Yeah.
all for that. Like whether it be going to the league or going to another school. Like,
Mhm.
do what's best for you. Like, I have
Yeah.
no problem with that.
And it's just like there's a point where like guys are going like JT Daniels, who did make a stop at Georgia, is now on to his fourth school. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I
He's
heard
going to
that.
play at Rice. Like, he went from USC to University of Georgia to West Virginia. Now he's going to Rice. You know what I mean? Like how like as far as like a college
He's probably
education,
getting a
like
nice master's degree there.
I was gonna say, like it's just how many degrees, like some guys are becoming doctors while they're playing college sports.
Yeah, the
Good doctors like while they're
yeah,
playing college
you probably
sports.
saw that dude. It was like one of those mid-major, FCS conferences, but it was like a dude in his 8th season. He's got like 3 master's degrees or something
Yeah,
crazy.
like
Just
a shout out to a Misericordia grad, one of our good friends, Jared Skids, could have had 2 master's degrees while playing for Misericordia football. But it's crazy with what the COVID eligibility did for some folks. But hey, listen, if you're able to play the sport that you love, I'm never going to say that you shouldn't.
yeah,
Period.
why not? 'Cause
But
when
yeah,
are you
I
gonna
like
play high-level football again?
exactly. You say never. Yeah, literally never. So I totally understand. If it's just like like there's been like some bowl games in a history. Like if I always think back to Boise State, Oklahoma. Like I feel like like we're not gonna get that kind of stuff unless it's within a playoff format. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also, like, we're looking for the playoff to
Yeah,
get, like, the best
that's why they're
teams
expanding it.
and the best product.
Yeah,
So, ultimately,
I
that'll be a good thing, and I think there'll probably be opt-out. I wouldn't be surprised if there are some sort of opt-out restrictions because it is getting, like, a little crazy with all the NIL transfer situations on top of the NFL,
yeah,
opt-out
yeah,
rationale.
100%. But yeah, so I still, even with all that being said, I like the Tennessee Volunteers plus the points here. Moving right along to the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl, Utah minus 2.5 against the Penn State Nittany Lions. Penn State loves the Rose Bowl, plays well in the Rose Bowl. I really do like Penn State, and you know what? I plus the points, money line. If you want to play it safe, take the points. But money line's got some good, decent plus money in certain books. So to each his own. I think because a lot in my reasoning is that all the good players at Penn State are young, therefore they will be playing in this game. I know Utah is pretty much dependent on Cam Rising's performance in that alone, essentially. So Penn State has a lot more players to lean on than Utah, in my opinion. I mean, obviously Utah's got some tough dudes on their defense and on their O line, that'll protect who's ever under center. But I think that Singleton, and I always forget the other running back's name for Penn State, but um, I think they got some guys, man. And I think that Penn State really gets up for the road when they are in this game, especially
Yeah,
the Rose Bowl.
but I mean, you have for the Utes, you have the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year sitting out. Like, I think
Yeah,
it's pretty big loss.
like that's your game maker right there. That's your
Yeah,
deterrent.
yeah, he's cornerback. Um, and then also one of their tight ends, Dalton Kincaid, he'll be skipping the bowl game. So I think there are bigger losses on the Utah side,
Hmm.
although I don't think it seemingly hasn't really swayed the line much. So do I stay on the Utah hype train and go with teams from the Mormon State?
I know you think about the full circle that this podcast has made. We used to fade all schools from Utah, but now it's just like we're riding with the Mormon State.
Yeah, I mean, I
I
think
love it. I'm
I'm gonna
sticking with Penn
go
State.
I'm going with the over. I mean,
Okay.
I'm going with the over and probably I'll throw some on Penn State plus the points also. I think the
Hmm.
over's low enough. Like Nittany Lions, they're a really good team. I think they're like obviously the Pac-12 was pretty damn solid this year, but Utah will be able to put up some points even with the losses of some of the weapons. But Penn State will also put up some points, like a good
Yeah.
shootout. It's in good Rose Bowl fashion. Let's
Oh,
get some points
100%.
here.
Rose Bowl makes for great games. You know what I mean? It's that bowl game that like teams get up for because of what it means to play in this game, and it's just you got that prime time television spot, baby. You were all eyes on the nation are on you that day. But yeah, I like Penn State here. The weapons are young, and they have more
Mm.
weapons on the team. Like they have more weapons staying on the roster for this game than Utah does. So
I'm
I like
looking
Penn
at
State.
some like score projections. Like some of them are normal. Okay, Penn State 31, Utah 27, Penn State 28, Utah 24, Penn State 34, Utah 24, and then Penn State 25, Utah 27, and then Penn State 56, Utah 17.
Oh, yeah. Should we take Penn State minus 16 and just see what that money looks like?
I mean,
Alt
yeah,
spread Penn State minus 20.
yeah, look like the juice would be pretty nice there. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, that's very interesting. But yeah, I like Penn State. Over's not a bad look either, but like my official pick is the Nittany Lions and the points, and maybe a little bit of sprinkle on that money line. Um, yeah, we're keeping it moving here. I love it. This game right here. To me, there isn't really much to think about it when you really see what we have here. We have Alabama, who's pissed off with Bryce Young and Will Anderson playing, a Nick Saban coach team, and something to prove. I think they absolutely boat race Kansas State, and it's not close.
Yeah, I mean,
Like that's my
like
true opinion. I think they just run Kansas State out of the building.
Kansas State kind of won its Super Bowl and winning
Yeah, they
the
did.
Big 12 chip. So I mean, like I don't think they'll have it like they did. Like obviously, like that game was absolutely electric, but
Hmm.
borderline TCU got robbed from their own
Yeah,
doing. But
exactly. Like Kansas State almost didn't even win that game.
right, yeah. I mean, also, do we know how many Alabama players are opting out? Because like this game is absolutely meaningless to those guys
But
going to the league.
all I know is that you got Bryce Young and Will Anderson playing, and that
Yeah,
to me means that like you got guys who are gonna show up, and who when Alabama guys are opting out, that just means now they're 5 stars playing. That's all that
yeah.
means.
Like there's just more talent on talent.
Yeah, exactly. So that doesn't really hurt your team as much as it does for others. So I like Alabama to just absolutely dog walk Kansas State.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with you there.
Like
Them to
-7 is a
cover.
good number, and it's not even that. I don't think that's gonna be that hard for them to cover.
Nah.
I like a nice 34-10.
Yeah, like a 2 touchdown alternate spread.
Yeah, I
Kinda
think
tempting.
Alabama beats them by 14 and a half plus. You know what I mean? Like we think about like the emotional, like the intent, like Chad called it the intent, like the intangible factors of the situation where Bama feels slighted by the college football playoff. They feel hurt. They feel left out. They are pissed off. They're very good. Um, and they got their two leaders on both sides of the ball playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's kinda tough, like it's like what we said with Tom Brady, like, do you bet against Alabama
Nope.
in the
Can't-
postseason? Nah,
Never bet against Nick Saban in the postseason.
exactly.
Whether the game matters or not, never bet against Nick Saban in the postseason.
I think I have, like, once or twice this season, but it wasn't the postseason, so
No, you can hedge Nick Saban in the regular season, but don't you dare with a trophy for him to hold at the end of the game. Don't ever do it.
yeah, because think about, like, the stain on his legacy if they don't win a bowl.
Exactly. Yeah. To not win a bowl, that's what I'm saying. It's like if he was so adamant about them being left out, well, here's your chance. This team beat a playoff team. Kansas State beat a playoff participant, even though they shouldn't have, in my opinion. It's neither here nor there. But yeah, I like Alabama -7, and I wrote over under twice. So over under 56. It's
Probably
okay, guys. Yeah, I
over.
blame I blame the editor. Um, yeah, I'll take the over there. I think Kansas State will add to this point total. All right, the moment we've all been waiting for on New Year's Eve, the college football semifinal, and the first game is Michigan -7.5 against the TCU Horned Frogs. The over under is 58. And I will tell you right now that I am all the way on TCU plus the points. I think it is a very close game.
But how do they do against Michigan's defense?
That's the thing, and I know that we've all talked about this. The two factors are Michigan defense and then Michigan's O line, because Michigan has
Yeah.
a pretty solid O line. I think that TCU can apply some pressure, but my point is that TCU, the thing that TCU has, like I said, the intangibles. It's that we talked about yesterday. It's like we'd rather die on the field than have somebody rip this game out of our hands. You know what I mean? Like Max Duggan willed his team to victory so many times. Like how many people you could say in a team sport with 11 guys, 22 guys, playing at a time, can say that one guy was able to will their team to victory in a team sport like that. You know what I mean? Like obviously in more like basketball, you see it more. You know what I mean? Like you know what I'm saying?
Oh no, I totally do.
Like to put your team and tell them that we are winning this game whether you like it or not. Like you know what I mean? So I'm not saying that TCU is going to win here. I just think that they're going to keep it close. I think that Michigan. Well, I don't think Michigan's going to overlook TCU, but like when you're favored by 7.5 points, aren't you looking at the next game just a little bit?
Oh yeah, well, you got to play this one to get to the championship. So,
Yeah,
like, that's definitely in the back of their minds, but
yeah,
also, like, Michigan offense ranked 10th in the country in plays of 40 plus yards, like even though without the running back, it
yeah. So a
means
lot of
keeping.
those are due to Blake Corum. Now a lot of those are because of him ripping off big runs.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think there's enough talent there that
Oh, 100%. They
they
proved that
should
they
be
could do it
fine.
without him. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of leading over here.
Oh yeah, no, the over's a great play.
Yeah, I like
I'll
the
I'll
over.
I'll
I
take
think
TCU and the points and the over.
go Michigan in the points in the over.
Okay, okay, I like it. We got some healthy discourse here. A lot of people would say that Connor and I just agree all the time and have it all happy days. But no, like I just think that Michigan's got that dog in them. They, almost didn't get put in the playoff, which is ridiculous to even. I think it was ridiculous that it was even a question. If we're being honest, I think that they have that grit that makes it not a guarantee for Michigan. You know, I just think that I like TCU to cover and I like the over.
Let's
And yeah,
see. Let's see what happens.
I'm so down to see what happens. And the last one, UGA -6 against the Ohio State Buckeyes, which is such a beautiful matchup when you think about college football in general. And it's that's just such a good, you know what I mean? Like these are two big schools like going off against each other. UGA -6 against Ohio State over under 62.5. Yeah, I'm gonna let you talk about it and see
I
what you
got
have
a
to say.
question for you. Are
What's
you
up?
mad that your Georgia Bulldogs ended up getting faced with the Ohio State Buckeyes, whose only loss comes to Michigan, undefeated Michigan?
No,
Would you
Alabama
rather
didn't
play
deserve.
TCU, or
Oh
you
well,
would just?
yeah. I'd rather
No,
play
that's what I mean.
TCU,
Like, do
but
you
I'd
think
rather
it should
play
have been
TCU.
flipped and it should have been another Big Ten matchup in the semifinals?
No, no, no. Because here's why. I don't think no. Because if you're gonna have Ohio State Michigan, it has to be the championship.
Hmm.
Like it has to be you know kind of like money reasons and more just like no. If you're gonna replay Ohio State Michigan, you've got to have it in the national championship. So there's that. And also like TCU also at least participated in their conference championship. Ohio State did not. Um, Ohio State's loss is to this playoff team. Um, and TCU's loss it was in the last seconds of an overtime game. So there's that. Like, would I have liked to play TCU? Yeah, but Um, I think that if we go undefeated national champs and we have to beat Ohio State and most likely Michigan to do it, then how can you question us? That's my
Fair
thought.
enough.
Like you're giving us the two best teams, other teams, in my opinion, to have to play against. However, I am very thankful that we do not have to play Alabama. Like no matter what they do in the season, like I'm just thankful we don't have to play them. I'm being honest.
Are you concerned that Ohio State's a little bit more healthy than they have been last couple weeks? Or
Um,
still unfazed and overlooking this
okay,
game,
no,
looking at the
no.
next
So
one?
what? My biggest concern for Ohio State is their wide receivers because our DBs are our weakness.
Mm.
Our D line is a bunch of guys. Jalen Carter. All them. Um, but we've been very questionable at DB. That's where we get beat. Is Especially one guy in particular who I talked about yesterday. And obviously he'll never hear me say this, but if he ever does, I apologize. Um, Keely Ringo, who actually was the guy who caught the game-winning interception in last year's national championship, has not looked good. He, Georgia Tech was going at him all game long and getting it. So when you go up against Marvin Harrison and is the other kid playing? Was it Njigba?
Nah, he's out,
He's
hamstring.
out. Okay. But I mean, they got the running back in, and CJ Stroud is. I'm just saying, we're going to be in CJ Stroud's kitchen for a good amount of the game. It's just a matter of if we can not let him get passes off because, like, we can't give him big plays downfield. We got to keep it in between the 10. This is such coach speak and very obvious speak, but like we have to really tighten it up when we're going and get against the pass game.
Yeah, a lot of exciting talent in this one for
Yeah,
sure.
what are your thoughts now, Mr. Analytics?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have all too much analysis like at the ready. I mean, like both teams aren't have been great against the spread.
Yeah,
Um,
they
and
both get handed such big spreads. That's the one thing.
yeah, I mean, like just looking at Ohio State, 1-5 in the last six neutral site games, 0-3-1 in the last four against winning teams, teams with winning records, I guess I should say. Georgia 3-8 in the last 11 games following a game in which they covered. So interesting quote like column systems or just trends, whatever you want to say here. Probably not enough of a sample size to call it a system, but over cashed in 9 of the last 10 for Ohio State, 6-0 in the last 6 against teams with an overall winning record. Yeah, so I'm gonna lean over here in this game.
Hmm.
Tough to call it either way. Like as you like with kind of taking some of the information you presented here. Ohio State could take advantage of the Georgia DBs. I think Georgia's defense is good, but it hasn't been as shut down as it was last year. And I think the offense, I don't want to say it's faltered, but the offense has looked like kind of iffy in certain like
Our offense is better than it was last year for sure. Our offense is so
yeah,
much more dynamic.
yeah, but I mean, interesting in some spots. Like you barely, who'd you barely beat? Like
Mizzou,
yeah,
Mizzou.
like stuff like that. I mean, it just like kind of sits in the back of your mind. It's like,
Uh-huh.
what can they really do? Kind of getting nitpicky and trying to look at every angle here. Yeah, I'm gonna ride with the over. I think there's enough talent here. Should make things interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I think the over is probably the proper play. In years past, we've never been an over team. But now like our offense is a lot better, and so I think the over is probably the correct decision. My hope for the game is that it's a good one. Obviously, I want to win, but you know, I want to play Ohio State's best, and it's a matter of because Ohio State's been a tale of two teams. Ohio State has almost goofed it up against bad teams this year, and obviously got demolished at home against Michigan. You know what I mean? So it's a matter of what they they show they're a team that can make really costly mistakes and multiple in a game. if you get in their head. So that's what I think we have to do. It's like because we just have to force them to give us more opportunities with the ball. And Michigan, sure they could do that. So if Michigan can do it, I think that our defense can do it as well.
Oh, 100%. I was just, like, stumbled across something, like, you know how on game day they put, like, the panel's predictions for,
Hmm.
like, whatever the game is?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at one, uh, I mean, it's not, indicative of, like, how this game's gonna go. Majority of this panel is on Georgia. One guy who's on Ohio State, both against the spread and straight up, and then there's one, like, I don't know why, someone's probably gonna get screamed at, but instead of Ohio State, they have an Ohio University logo as one of the against the spread picks for this game.
So Ohio University is somehow gonna win this game.
Ohio University is in the college football playoff and will cover against the University of Georgia. You heard it here first. Or second, really, but
That's funny. Um, I'm not, and that's a thing too, is that like we've also gotten a lot better at not at staying at a nice happy medium like throughout the year is because like and we for longest time is that whenever we've it's been a curse for us to be the favored team or the number one team in the country. But we've done a lot better at like Kirby's instilled that idea. It's like this is how it's not how it's supposed to be, but this is how you never want to get too high or too low when you're that number one team because the target's on your back, and you have to learn from every game, no matter how well it goes. So like it's beneficial to have a scare against Mizzou. It's beneficial to give up 20 points to Kent State in a way, because you learn things about your team, and it shows
light a
that like
fire under your ass.
exactly. It shows that, oh, when you get caught on your heels, can you recover? You know what I mean? When somebody punches you in the mouth, catches you in a way you didn't expect them to, what do you do about it? And also, like when you find success, that you don't get too high. Like I think that Tennessee's biggest mistake coming in against us is they were way too hot after Alabama. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like if they were more level headed, they probably would have had a better chance. Um,
I think that's fair.
they were ringing the national championship bells as it was, after beating Alabama. So I'm just saying, like we've done a really good job of staying the course and not getting too hot and not getting too cold. You gotta maintain that homeostasis throughout your season and take the lumps as they come. Um, and yeah, just prepare as hard as you can. And Kirby Smart is a master of preparation. He was Nick Saban's defensive coordinator for a reason. So that's my long-winded answer, long-winded statement about this game. I'm very excited for this game. I think that it's, you know, I feel like it because that's the other thing too, and it's kind of scary to say, is that there's only two ways now that we've won the regular season for this season for us to shake out, and it's either massive disappointment or undefeated national champions. That is it. Because we did not lose a regular season game, those are the only two ways the season can shake out, and that's pretty crazy.
I mean, obviously, like, not winning would be disappointing, but better than you guys losing a game to Missouri and not
Yeah.
making the playoff at all. There's always something
Yeah,
worse out there.
that's true. That's true. I just like pretty crazy, like the situation that I find my team in now. That you know what I mean? Because like
No,
obviously,
my point being, it's not a bad situation to be in at all.
yeah,
I mean, obviously, like, you're here, like, it's right at the fingertips, so you want it to be, like, them to grasp it and hoist the trophy, but,
yeah,
like, you could also be a Clemson fan, like, look what they're playing for, you could be Alabama, like, obviously, they've had tremendous success, but
yeah.
you have
That's
what is,
true.
like, probably the most disappointing season for most Alabama fans in their lifetime
Hmm.
also.
Yeah, that's true.
The Bulldogs are in a good spot.
Yeah, I just gotta, like I but you like when you win a national championship, obviously you can lower your expectations for the following season. So for us to be here again is pretty wild.
I think it is, but, like, and the realm of college football winning a national championship, but I think just in sports in general, you get a taste for it.
You want it
What
again?
it feel yeah, and, like, it'll probably eat at like, it would eat at you if you're there and, like, you just miss it.
Yeah.
So I think they're still hungry. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
Stetson
Oh, we
Bennett's last.
absolutely are. It's going to be his last. I know for a fact. That's the thing is that like is that one of the best things that he possesses is self awareness. Like everybody's saying that oh, he's the same age as Lamar Jackson. Blah blah. Well, guess what? He's not Lamar Jackson, and he knows that. You know what I mean? Like he's presented the opportunities, and if Stetson Bennett was your not I'm talking about you, but I'm saying people like if Stetson Bennett was your team's quarterback, and you had our team playing for your Notre Dame, playing for your Penn State, playing for your whoever, I'm sure you'd be a happy camper. So like, don't question him. And I've always seen this tweet flying around that all Stetson Bennett's a 25-year-old man throwing slants to 5-star receivers. You know what's funny? None of our receivers are 5-star receivers. So like, like people are trying to make excuses, but like none of our receivers are 5 stars.
They're
Brock
just hating.
Bowers, they're just haters. Yeah, people love to hate and let them hate. We're gonna try to go win this thing back to back. So let's go. I'm amped. It's we're bringing in the new year, right? I hope that everybody enjoyed this episode. Anybody who stopped by, anybody who's gonna see this, we appreciate all the love and support that you have given us throughout the year. We hope that everybody takes the chance to like, comment, and subscribe. We've got a couple subscribers in the past couple weeks. We want to keep that going. Make sure to show love to Keith and Tom on their pick and fights videos. They do a fantastic job picking those. Obviously, you guys to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at _pickandwinners. Make sure to check out the website, pickandwinners.org. Shout out to Men of Order. Their links are in the description below. We write blogs for them, do videos, collab with them all the time. So yeah, definitely show love to all of them. And check us out on Spotify. The links to our Spotify page are also down below as well. We appreciate each and every one of you for giving us love throughout the year. Yeah, Connor, you got anything for the folks before we get out of here?
I think you covered everything. Let's enjoy a great
Perfect.
weekend of football.
Perfect. Let's have a great weekend. I hope everybody has a happy, a healthy, and safe weekend of gambling. Happy New Year. We out.